This thing could use a reverse camera. Gotta get those tire angles. Alright, let's make a video. Alright, some of you guys might remember this spot. About 12 months ago I came here with the car when I just bought it. A lot's changed since then. I have a little bit less hair, I have a little bit less weight, but the Landcruiser has gained so much. So today I'm going to walk you through what I've done to this car in the last 12 months, how I've modified it. We're going to talk about things that have needed to be changed, what it's like to live with in general, and the pros and cons. There are cons and there are a lot of pros. So stick around and we'll get straight into it. My brand new project. Alright guys, before we go too deep into this video, I'm just going to give you a quick rundown about what this car is. So it's a 1998 Toyota Landcruiser. It's a 105 series, so the extra 5 means that you get a solid axle instead of independent front suspension. This one is a 1HZ diesel, so it's a 4.2 litre 6-cylinder diesel. It has an aftermarket turbo kit on it, and it has the factory A442F automatic. That's a 4-speed automatic, it's a very strong box, and it's quite hard to find this car with that combo. So I much prefer the auto, that's why I've gone for that. So we'll just walk around the car, I'll show you what we've done. So in terms of mods that have really made the biggest difference, you can see in here, we've got new springs and shocks. So I ended up going for a 2-inch lift. The shocks were brand new off Marketplace, and the Dobinson springs were bought brand new. So this has really just changed the look of the car, how capable the car is. And you can see in the back here, we've got new springs and shocks again. I'll just go around to the front here. You can also see we've put new trailing arms in, which are a little bit longer to allow for the lift. We've got sway bar extensions, just so that we still get plenty of movement there. And in the front, we've also put new radius arms that are also a little bit longer. They're a Black Hawk, really good quality, very happy with them so far. So for me, with this car being something that we use as an off-roader, as well as a daily, suspension was very important to me. So you can see that lift with the bigger wheels and tires, I think really changes the look of these cars. It goes from very plain, very mum wagon to giving it a little bit of an aggressive stance. So yeah, I'm very happy with that. So moving on to the sides of the car, nothing much has changed. You can see over here, I've started sorting out the new color. We just ran a few examples. So for comparison, this here is primer gray, that's primer, and that is the color of my old 80 series. So I wanted a little bit darker than the 80 on the 105, and I think that color there has got it. I believe this year, in terms of modifications, this will be a year of the body. There's some rust here that's gotten quite a bit worse. There's some rust under the door handle there. I don't know if you can see that. There's a ding here where this genius managed to knock the boat into the side of the car when I was reversing it up the driveway. So I think bodywork this year will be the theme. Now we'll move over to the back of the car. So this part of the car has changed a little bit since I bought it. It had just the standard 3rd row seats when I first got it. This is very much a work in progress, as is most of the car is. So at the moment, I've just got some Black Widow drawers. These were another Marketplace buy. They were pretty cheap. I don't remember exactly what I paid. And you can see in a previous episode, before I installed any of this, I've gone and put Car Builder's sound deadener in the floor, in the sides, everywhere. It's made a noticeable difference, even though it's only in the back. You just don't hear your little stones flicking up into the guards. There's definitely less highway noise. So as we progress through the back of the car to the front, I'll be doing the sound deadening through everything. But the purpose of this setup is for camping, really light touring. So we're trying to keep it so that you can still go forward driving without being too heavy. So I'll give you a quick look. So we've just got 2 standard drawers. It's got wings on either side, and then this is a Clearview Easy Slide. I had this as a carryover from my 80 series. So I've popped that in there, and we've got a big dual zone fridge. So if we're going away for multiple days, we have lots of space to put whatever we want. And the beauty of this is that you can run half of it as a freezer. So if you need to freeze meat on one side and keep eggs and fruit and things cool on the other side, you definitely can. But for the back, that's all that's really changed on the inside. On the outside, we had a cracked tail light from the get-go, so I've just chucked some cheap LED style headlights in. I think they're quite a nice look. I still haven't made my mind up on the rear bar. I'm leaning more and more towards a steel rear bar for single tire carrier when I've got the budget, but for now, this is definitely doing the trick. So I'm pretty confident in saying that visually, this is probably where the biggest changes have happened. So what I've done since I've owned it is we've put new headlights in, and these are a late model headlight. And to be able to do that, I had to replace all the front support under here. These are the new eyelids that replace the old ones. They're a little bit smaller because these headlights are slightly bigger. So you can't put new headlights or the updated model headlights in an old front. And what came with that also was a new grille. So this is the late model grille. And what I've done is I've cut the middle fin out of here and here, just to give it a bit of a different look and hopefully let a little bit more air in. And I painted the center black because this was like a light silver color, which I think really, it makes the car stand out a bit better. And when there's darker paint here, it should look really good. Now, one of my favorite things that I found on Marketplace, and I've been looking for one of these since day one of owning this car, is this is a TJM steel bull bar. It has a single hoop that unbolts. I've taken it off just because there'll be some painting done to this when the rest of the car gets painted. But I just think these are the greatest looking bar. I think it's crazy that they don't make them anymore. I think they would sell like hotcakes. Maybe there's a reason they don't. But yeah, I'm a big fan of this. And now we've got steel on the front, whereas it had alloy before, which I'm not a huge fan of. It was just nice to be lightweight. And it's got little things like these air vents that'll allow good airflow. So on the front end, that's all that's really changed, except for the fact that we've lifted up as well, which makes it look a little bit more aggressive. So yeah, really happy with how that's looking. And again, if you have a look at the paint on the eyelids underneath, that's our new color again. So the way I'm going to do this is just as we move around the car, the panels to be replaced, we'll paint them as we go. So we'll keep some videos on that to show you how we're doing that. Okay, so whilst we're at the front of the car, it only makes sense we have a quick look at the engine bay. There's been quite a lot change in here since last year. I suppose the most obvious thing is how much cleaner it is. But what we've also done is we've eliminated the old top mount intercooler. It's now got a front mount tucked in behind the grille, painted black so it doesn't stand out. And that's really tidied things up. I painted the piping for the front mount black also, so that way it's not sort of standing out too much. We've put a new turbo in, you can't really see that, but we went from the old DTS, which was running about 8 pound. And I've learned from the old owner that they did that thinking it was going to save the new turbo they put on it. But I think ultimately it's probably done more harm than good. So that's gone. We've got a new Kinagawa 16G running 12 pound that will go to 14 when we do the tune. So in terms of maintenance, this is something I really wanted to talk about. It's probably one of the biggest cons. And it's a lesson learned for trying to buy the cheapest one of these. It looked like great value on paper, but here's a list of the things that's been replaced since I bought the car. Now that might not seem too crazy, nothing's major, but I can tell you it all adds up pretty quick. So if you're buying one of these, it's worth looking at the general condition of them, having a look at the service history and seeing when these items were replaced, because buying one that's had all that work done will literally save you thousands of dollars. So just going back to what we've done under here as well, you can see a new color popping up again. We put new foam in between the radiator and the front here, which makes a big difference. That's a must if you don't have it in there. That seems to keep water temperatures much happier. We'll go interior next. Okay, so quick shot of the back. Nothing's changed in here. Interior's still nice and clean. We just got some 3D floor mats and we killed the squeaky hinges. So in the last video, you hear a lovely noise there that's gone. And that brings us to the front. So up front here, we got new window tint. The old stuff was all peeling and pretty nasty. We've got a Recaro driver's seat now, which has been an absolute game changer for comfort. The old one was pretty flogged. We've also got the 3D floor mats again. Give you a closer look at those. They've been awesome. They do a great job of catching all the nasty stuff. So in here, just close that up. Not a whole bunch of changes. We've got a new head unit, which was an eBay special. I'll turn that on just so you can see what it looks like. So this is our head unit now. There's an app that you can connect everything up, which is turn the aircon off. I'm also waiting for that to load up. We've got an EGT gauge. Well, it's a multi-gauge. This is a JRP multi-gauge. If you've watched any of my videos, you see that I use this all the time. I've been using it for my highway testing to see how things like new turbos and new intercoolers help compared to the old ones. I really love it. It's a customizable screen, so you can change what parameters you can see up there. At the moment, I've only got the absolute basics, but I intend to add water temperature, oil temperature, so we can keep an eye on everything. But they're a great bit of kit. I'm not sponsored by them. I just think that it's a really awesome thing to have. And most people who I put onto it, once they get one for more than one of their cars. They just think they're great. And that mounting position is out of the way. It's not too intrusive. So highly recommend those. And what I did do compared to the last video is this center console was pretty haggard, this bit here. So it needs a clean at the moment, but I gave it a refresh. I gave it a new bit of paint and some clear just to protect it. Okay, and that brings me to the head unit. This was a really nice upgrade for just day-to-day use of the car. So we've got maps. It's relatively responsive. I run my Spotify off it too. You can have multi-displays. You can have just your normal display here. These are super cheap off eBay. I'll find the link and pop it in the comments. Again, no sponsor, just really good bit of kit. The phone lives up in a quad lock mount there. And that's really it for the interior. Not a lot has changed in here. Okay, so I guess that brings us to the point of the general ownership of this car and whether I've enjoyed it. Look, there was a period with this car where those items that I listed earlier were just breaking one by one, and it was starting to make me feel pretty down about the car, making me think that I'd made a mistake. This was just going to be an endless money pit. But once I got those things that really are standard service items out of the way, the car has been amazing since. It has almost 320,000 Ks on it. And some of those things I think have been in there from new, and I think some of them have probably only been changed once in their lifetime, which, as frustrating as it was, is really testament to how good these cars are. This is an old car now, and the reason I like it so much is, to me, you get the underpinnings of the 80 series Landcruiser, so it's pretty tough, but you get the comfort of the 100 series inside. So it still feels relatively modern. It's super capable. We've only taken it on a couple of small trips, but it's done everything we've asked of it. Now that those routine maintenance things are out of the way, it's just been absolutely bulletproof. And I am putting it through its paces. So I towed a boat just over a ton with the trailer, about 3.5 hours down south, and then back up again, and we had no issues. Yes, I would recommend one of these cars, but I would say make sure that you've done your research on the car and make sure it has a service history. If it looks like it's been neglected, allow $5,000 to tidy things up at least. And if you're dealing with a diesel, there could be things even worse. There could be injectors, injector pumps. So for me, it's paramount that you buy one that has been taken care of. So I suppose the question that I should be answering at the end of this video is, do I regret buying the car? No. Look, having to replace those service items, it's a bit of, I don't know, it's good and bad, right? So I've really learned a lot about the car. I understand what's happening under the bonnet a lot better now. So if something went wrong, I'd feel a lot more confident being able to diagnose it and fix it or find the right part to replace it. And I've also now got the peace of mind that everything I've replaced is new. So yeah, it was a bit of a punish, but if you're mechanically minded and you're really getting a good deal, which I think I did on this, I don't feel bad about buying something that needed some work at all. But look, overall, it drives beautifully now. It's still a little bit slow, but that's just 1HZ things. I'm happy to live with that. It's a joy off-road. We've camped in it a couple of times and it's super nice, that sort of stuff. For me, it's just the ultimate all-rounder. I get the strength of an 80 series underpinning. I get the comfort of a 100 series up top. What would I change if I had an unlimited budget? I'd probably go and buy a 100 series body in a top spec in a really nice color, and I'd buy one with a 1HD FTE engine, and I would swap the FTE and that body straight on top of this. I think then I would have the ultimate car. You'd have full 100 series comfort on the interior, you'd have a mint outside, a mint body on the exterior, and you'd just have an engine that can pull all day, as much power as you want on tap, and still have that beautiful 6-cylinder diesel sound. So that's something that I'll keep an eye out. If opportunities pop up, there may be a chance to do that down the track. But for now, Our next steps on this car are to go out and use it as much as we can, change the color. I'm going to be doing that very slowly, panel by panel. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. It's been awesome to have so many followers. I have a few people now that have really become loyalists to this car. So if you're interested in seeing us actually use it and continue to improve it, we'll be back here in a year's time, no doubt, doing a video where this is completely transformed again. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you at the next one. All right, catch us later.